This is Support is Sexy, episode 191. You're never too old for a great mentor. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And I'm excited to share with you, a quote that came up from a very old, or at least it feels old, episode 19 that I did with Mitzi Miller. And the quote was, "You're never too old to have a great mentor." Now, in episode 19, Mitzi talks about a move she made, a move physically, a big move from New York to Los Angeles, but also a change of career from being an editor-in-chief of esteemed magazines. She had worked in journalism for several years like I did, and she moved to becoming a vice president and producer in Hollywood with Rainforest Entertainment. In fact, Rainforest actually produces The Quad on BET if you watch that on Wednesday evenings. I'm obsessed, as I told Mitzi, with Anika Noni Rose's outfits. She looks fantastic, but I digress. But that is one of the shows and one of the projects that Rainforest does, and Mitzi is a producer on that show. Within that episode, though, she spoke about having a mentor in Hollywood, another woman that she works with who has been fantastic for her. She talks about how important that has been, especially during this transition, and she's learning a whole new industry, basically. And she said, "You're never too old to have a great mentor." And I was actually reminded of this quote from one of our listeners. I love you guys so much for listening, and more importantly, for engaging and posting and tweeting and emailing and all that great stuff. But one of our listeners, Yolanda Lewis, she's at The Lewis Effect on Twitter, TheLewisEffect on Twitter. She posted that quote, and it was such a great reminder. So thank you, Yolanda. And it reminded me, too, of just how passionate I was this year of 2017 about finding a new mentor. That was one of the vows to myself that I made for this year, and something that I'm excited to share with you that I've been able to do. And I actually first committed to that vow to myself when I had another great interview with Jen Glantz, episode 144. You have to check her out. Great interview. But Jen talked about when she was looking for a mentor as an entrepreneur, she just Googled entrepreneur mentor. Sometimes it's just that simple, right? The simplest tactics yield the best results. And sometimes we make it so complicated. But she said she just started with Google looking for a mentor for an entrepreneur. And she landed with SCORE, SCORE. And it's an organization that's a nonprofit that's dedicated to helping small businesses get off the ground. Right? Exactly what you need. So Jen said that she went through SCORE. She was paired with a mentor, and she has a funny story about how it didn't go so well at first. But she was paired with this gentleman who's a successful retired businessman in his 80s, I believe. And this man is now one of her best friends and advisors. They have a close relationship. He is a mentor to her. So be sure to listen to that episode about Jen and what she's done, what she's created, and the support this mentor had given her. So when I heard that from Jen, I'd always been thinking, I need to find a mentor for my business. It was one of those things, honestly, that was on the to-do list. But talking to her and hearing from her and how she went about it and how easy it was for her to start the search. It's not always easy to find someone, but to start the search, just Google, get out there, try the easiest tactic, find someone who can help you. I committed to doing that. Now, I will say I've had great mentors over the years. Certainly in my career as a journalist, it has been fantastic women mostly, and a lot of great men too, who have helped push me forward in my career. Many I'm still in touch with, but my thing was pairing with someone who is fully committed to seeing me be successful in my business. That is something I will say that I haven't had. And I will say that I've never been more clear about the things that I want to create in my business. So I think I can bring something more to a relationship from the perspective of my experience and goals than I have in the past. So a mentor that I would have had 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, is different than the kind of person I might need now. So that's one of the reasons I was really committed to that. So as I said, I made it a priority for 2017. And once I got settled in Atlanta, I, like Jen, began in the simplest way. I started to do research online. And the first thing I came across when searching women entrepreneurs in Atlanta, start with the basics, I came across Atlanta's Women Entrepreneurship Initiative. And I had just missed an event that they hosted, so I signed up for future events. You can sign up for an email list. That's a great place to start, right? Then last month, in March, I received an email from the organization inviting me to an event that the Atlanta Women's Chamber of Commerce was hosting for International Women's Day. I attended that event. It was fantastic at the Swan Coach House here in Atlanta. And lo and behold, one of the speakers was a gentleman from the Atlanta chapter of SCORE. Hello. So, of course, I connected with him after the event. I followed up with him after that, and he has now agreed to be a mentor to me. And something I'm very excited about and that I've been wanting to learn about for a while, he's going to help me look at how to create business partnerships with larger organizations, especially organizations that are committed to supplier diversity. You've heard me talk about that on the podcast before. A lot of us new entrepreneurs or smaller businesses or even solopreneurs don't consider how we can work with other companies because we might not feel like we're quote unquote big enough. But if you want to go bigger, ladies, we've got to think bigger and learn to play in those waters. And a lot of times, from what I've heard from people who specialize in supplier diversity, we as women entrepreneurs sometimes don't consider what we could contribute just because we think we're too small and we might be missing out on those opportunities. So this mentor is going to help me look into that. And when I called, I told him specifically what my goals are. As I always say, goals can change, but I wanted to say, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm interested in. So I'm excited about that and I will keep you posted. Now, yes, I have 20 years of experience and expertise doing what I do, media and creating content for women. I'm passionate about it. I know how to do it. I can make it happen. And yes, I am a woman in her 40s, 44 to be exact. So I'm of a certain age. But you know what? As Mitzi said, you're never too old to have a great mentor. So on this episode, I want to share with you some advice of things for you to keep in mind for finding a mentor at every stage and every age. Whatever age you are, whatever stage of your business you're in. If you're a newbie or you're someone who's at a different level or making some kind of transition, a mentor could be helpful to you in doing that. Now, you might be saying, oh, everybody already knows you need a mentor, whatever. But I do think some of these things might be reminders. Some of them are tips, but some of them might be reminders for the reasons that a mentor is good. As I said, talking to Jen and just how easy she researched it and then how great of a connection she had with her mentor really made me be like, you know what? I need to do that again because I am doing something different now, want to grow in a way. So if any of you even are thinking about growing your business, maybe a mentor, someone who's already done it, can help you do that. So here's some advice that I'm sharing based on my experience with mentorship, both having a mentor and being a mentor to other people, which I do as well. First, let go of what mentorship looks like. In other words, it doesn't have to be you go to coffee. It doesn't have to be you go to the person's office. It doesn't have to be you set a meeting. You don't necessarily have to even see each other. You can do it over the phone, via email if it's something quick. It might be through any other kind of way, or it might just be through their content. So a mentor, of course, is great if it's someone that you can actually connect with and get direct feedback from. But there are other ways that you can connect with people who produce content. So, for example, I consider Lisa Nichols a mentor. I have never met her. I've heard her in several interviews. I try to catch every interview that she does. She is my sister in my head, but I have never met her. But she does fantastic videos. As I said, fantastic interviews. I read almost all of her content, anything I can find. I read her books. It mentors to me in that way. She's on my list of people I want to have on the show, though, so there's that. But until then, I've let go of what mentorship for me from Lisa Nichols looks like. There are ways for me to get advice, information from her based on the content that she produces. Tony Robbins is a mentor in my head. Sarah Blakely, I'm obsessed with her from Spanx, the CEO of Spanx, is a mentor in my head. So for you, if there's someone that you cannot get yet direct contact with, are there other ways for you to get some of the wisdom from them based on information that they already have out there? Let go of what the mentorship looks like. Another tip. For those of us who are more seasoned, as I said, I'm a woman of a certain age and certainly a certain level of experience professionally. Don't get caught up in the age of your mentor. If I want to find out about social media, when I had a social media strategist that I work with, Jazzy, who was wonderful, she's not older than me. She's younger. In fact, I probably could find somebody even younger than her who knows about social media. You have to get the person who specializes in the thing that you want to do. It's not about their age. It's about what they can contribute and what they know. If you wanted to find out, for example, how to play the latest video game, and listen to this, I don't even know what the latest video game is. But if I wanted to basically just know what the latest I would probably find a person who's about 13 years old. Not that older people don't play video games, but young people tend to know what's going on in that space, just as an example. So my whole thing is, don't get caught up, if you're a seasoned person, on not looking at a mentor who's younger than you, who might be able to advise you in something that you don't know everything about. Or even when you're hiring someone to work with you, you might want to get someone who's 23 or 24, or it's not even about age, it's about what they're passionate about. If they're passionate about social media, you need to talk to that person. If they're doing something that works, you need to talk to that person. Don't get caught up that it has to be someone who is older than you just because you have a certain amount of experience in a certain space. Here's another tip. As I said, to piggyback off our last one, find someone who has a specialty in what you want to learn. Social media, video, podcasting, whatever it is. Even if their overall business is different than yours. Sometimes I think we get caught up in, and I've done this, I need someone in media to advise me on my media business. But it doesn't have to be someone in media. It's just someone who is in business and who has encountered things in business as an entrepreneur. If it's something in general that I'm trying to do. If it's something media specific, sure. But the person that you're looking for, you want to make sure they have a specialty in the thing that you want to know about. Their business could be completely different. This mentor that I'm working with, his business is completely different than mine, but he has experience working on these bigger contracts with these bigger companies and working internationally. Got to think big, everybody. Think big. So that is what I'm looking at, and that is what I want to learn about. So this person is a great mentor for me at this stage. Also, another thing to keep in mind, the person can mentor you for a moment. It doesn't have to be for a lifetime. So I've talked to people, maybe I've spoken to them one time. Someone asked me to speak to them for 15 minutes on the phone. We have a call. I mentor to them in the moment, and that's it. They might follow up with me. They might not. It's okay on both sides of it. Let the person mentor you in the moment. Or you might see someone at an event or somewhere, go up to them, ask them a specific question, something you've been wanting to know about. They can mentor to you in the moment based on their experience. Again, it doesn't have to be for a lifetime. And I say that as a reminder to not be dismissive of those moments. Sometimes we dismiss it, oh, this person won't spend time with me or be a mentor, or what you think, again, going back to what you think the mentorship needs to look like. People can mentor you in the moment. It doesn't have to be for a lifetime. Another thing, have a variety of mentors whose expertise you can tap into. I have this one person that I'm working with. I plan to have more. I don't want to overwhelm myself with mentors, but sort of like a board of advisors. They don't all have to know each other. You don't have to do a group call getting them all together, even though I know people who do that very successfully. They have their board of advisors. They have calls, I think, every quarter and update all of these people. Whatever works best for you. The thing is to have people in different areas of expertise that you can tap into. Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's content, maybe it's something else. Whatever it is for your business that makes sense. Construction, whatever it is, find someone who has expertise or different people who have expertise that you can tap into. It's okay to have a variety of mentors. This isn't an exclusive relationship, right? You can be mentored by many people. Another thing to keep in mind, when you find someone, be clear on your ask. This is actually something I just shared in an interview that I did where I was interviewed by Dr. Renee maybe a couple of weeks ago. You can find that on YouTube, Ask Dr. Renee. But during that interview, I spoke about, as far as mentorship, you have to be clear on what your ask is. So I say a way to do that is if you could only ask one question of this person, what would that question be? Like, what's your top priority in that moment, the question that you want answered? Now, you will likely be able to ask them more than one question, but if there was only one question that you can get out, what would that be? That helps you with the priority. And then if you had a top 3 list of questions, what would those questions be? Just 3. You have your one, that would be your one question, number 1, and then your top 3. what would those questions be? And I do that again so that it helps set priorities when you're having a conversation with someone, and it makes sure that you get your key questions in the beginning of the conversation. Because I've had situations where I've spoken to people and we get on the phone, and as I said in that interview I did, sort of like, oh, hi, thanks so much for talking to me. Yeah, I don't really know. And I'll say, oh, great, what do you think I can help you with? Or how do I assist you? Or, people want to get right to it. It's great to have the niceties in the beginning, but then what do you want, or how can I help you? And if people don't have the answer, you've wasted everybody's time. You missed out on possibly getting some great advice. The mentor missed out on whatever they could have been doing and on being able to offer you some support. So it ends up feeling like a waste of time, and nobody wants that, right? Everybody's time is precious. So also this helps too if you have just a limited amount of time with someone. Sometimes someone can only give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the phone or whatever it is. So if the time gets cut short, you want to make sure you weren't saving those good questions for the end. Get them in right from the beginning and ask them right away. Then this way, if the conversation goes on longer, great, you can ask more questions, but you know that your key questions were answered. Another tip, don't be just a taker, also be a giver. As much as you ask for advice, you should be as excited about offering it as well. And that doesn't necessarily mean being a mentor. Maybe you're not at that stage yet, or you don't feel comfortable just yet being a mentor to somebody, even though I think everybody can mentor somebody, right? But I think you can also be a giver when you're speaking to your mentor. In addition to asking them questions and things that you want to know for you, what can you give to them? You can offer and just say, is there anything I can support you with? Or just let me know in the future if there's anything I can do. It could be as open-ended as that. Just be open to being a giver as well, not just a taker. You give, you give, you give. You want to make sure that you focus on giving responsibly. Don't just be a taker, because then I believe the universe gives back to you. The universe loves a giver. So let's be focused on that. Another thing that you can give, updates. That is something that I love to get from listeners, mentees, contacts, whoever, updates about what's going on. Short and sweet, just let the person know what's going on with you, how you're moving forward, etc. So if someone, for example, refers you to someone that you reach out to, or you take the advice of your mentor and make something happen, shoot him or her an email with a quick update so they know that you're taking action. Now, knowing that this person might not get back to you, maybe they didn't see it, maybe they didn't get it. Either way, you're giving an update, and you have it there for them to see and know what's up with you. And this is whether it worked out or not. Sometimes we don't want to tell the mentor that we tried that thing and failed at it. Give the update. Hey, I tried this. It didn't work out for me, but this is what I'm going to do moving forward, or I'm going to try it again. This allows the mentor to stay engaged and invested if they really want to see you succeed, which of course they want to see you succeed, right? So you want to make sure you give updates and tell people what's going on. One of the listeners and people that I've connected with, Siobhan. Hi, Siobhan. I hope you're listening. She's been fantastic in giving me updates on what's going on with her, or she did something from the podcast. And I'm not saying I'm her mentor, but it certainly helps me in knowing that, one, I'm on the right track with the content that I'm giving, but getting updates that things are working, what she's creating, and that kind of thing. So shoot someone an email, give them an update. You don't have to tell them every day what you're doing, unless you want to. I wouldn't suggest that. You don't have to do that. But if you're getting some great information from someone, let them know how it's working out for you. And the last reminder that I'll say about mentorship is that mentoring is about connection, shared information, and feedback. So this person isn't there to solve all of your problems for you, right? They're there to give you their opinion based on their own experience. So always remember that it's not that they're necessarily right, certainly not that they're necessarily wrong. It's their opinion based on their own experience. So you do with that what you will, but it's all about shared information, connection, and feedback from them to you and from you to them. And all in all, it'll be a great relationship. Highly suggest getting a mentor. Like I said, we all say it. Sometimes we're dismissive of it. Sometimes we forget, as I admit I did for the past few years, or didn't make it a priority. Now that I'm back into it and doing it again and thinking this way, I'm excited about the possibilities. And that's what mentorship can also open up to you. It can open up possibilities. You never know. Find someone that you trust and whose opinions that you value, and see if there's a way that they can mentor to you. Again, like we said, doesn't have to be in person or someone you know personally. Mentorship can look a lot of different ways. All right, so thank you all so much for listening. You know I appreciate you. For more, go to supportissexypodcast.com. Check out all the fantastic interviews that I've done with inspiring women entrepreneurs. And for this episode, make sure you go to supportissexypodcast.com, go to the little search icon, search Great Mentor in the search box. And this way, this episode will come up and you can get links to the episode with Mitzi, the episode with Jen, also for SCORE, Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative in Atlanta, and the Women Chamber of Commerce in Atlanta. Of course, you can Google all of that and look it up, but I'll have all of the links there for you as resources so it's easy for you to find and get you started. All right, supportissexypodcast.com. As always, I appreciate you. Again, thank you so much for listening. And now, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.